June 25th, 2010, there was blood in La Covacha. That was my first professional fight. I want to tell you guys what was going through my brain at 23 years old. You know, no amateur fights, just signed straight pro. That was like the last year where you were able to do that. And my brother just got into the UFC, and Mixed Martial Arts Fighting Alliance contracted me to become a professional fighter right off rip. I was like, hell yeah, I'll take a fight. And I was squaring up with Josbel Rodriguez, who just almost knocked me out in this first round. And I managed to like recover it and secure a takedown. So I was training with Jorge Masvidal. He was my cornerman. Juan Feraldo, he was my Jiu-Jitsu coach as well. So I saw a Tigre back there. I saw Manolo. Alexis Vila was fighting on this card. It was such a crazy night. It felt like a dream. So when I stepped up in there, it was just like very dreamy. And then after he just finally hit me in the face, that's when I finally woke up. I was like, whoa, this guy's for real trying to rip my head off. And that's when I'm like, you know, bouncing up, trying to smile right over here to try to play off the damage, and I'm playing catch up now. So I'm throwing the jab, and I'm throwing it ugly because my boxing wasn't the best back then. It still kind of sucks now, but it was worse back then. So boom, I use those shots to do what I'm really good at, which is wrestling. You know, I've been wrestling since middle school, high school, and college. So boom, that was a nice shot. I even did some stuff that I just recognized right now that I just missed, where I hooked his leg. I was like, wow, I could have tripped him if I would have followed through. But fights later on, I ended up doing that. I got 28 pro fights. I'm getting some good twop control right over here. I'm laying it real heavy right now with the ground and pound. But let me tell you what was going through on my mind. I was like, man, this ground and pound is not as easy as it looked like on TV. You know what I mean? Whatever my brother was doing in the UFC and everybody was doing up there, I was like, man, this is not as easy as I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, I had to really wake up, and I started going right into my fundamentals. Look at that Iowa takedown. That's something that I would hit normally in middle school or high school or college. Like, that's just like I was like on autopilot, but yet I was so concentrated on what I was doing, which is right there. Now the ground and pound felt a little bit easier now that I had like the mount, but he was kicking up. This Josbel Rodriguez, my opponent, you know what I mean? Rest in peace. You know, he took his own life. You know, a really good guy. I had a great training time with him, but then we ended up fighting each other. But that's just how the game goes. You know, but you know, this is me right now trying to apply a Kimura, but like reverse style, and then I end up getting into a mount, reverse mount, and I'm do something that's always pretty much what I like, the unconventional stuff. I'm like, okay, if I can put you in a reverse triangle, and I was like, wow, I'm actually in this position of professional fight. I'm really exposing his ribs. Boom, and I start going ham. So now I started really, you know, coming to the reality that I'm in a professional fight. You know, the only people that came to my fight was like my mom, my brother was in Las Vegas, and 3 of my friends. And I think I got paid like $600. And right in that first beginning of the round, what you guys just saw, before I got KO'd, well, before I almost got KO'd, my bad, my mom was like right there in the front row, and I was like half knocked out, like underwater. And my mom's like, "Levántate!" And I just got up, and that's when I did that takedown, and this is where I'm at right now. I'm holding him on my guard, and I was like, wow, this guy's like, he doesn't know how tired I am. I'm pretty tired, and he's about to escape my guard because I almost tried to get a triangle. And I was surprised on like how he didn't jump back up on me. I was like, man, this guy could have just jumped on top of me. I was kind of gassed, but he didn't know it. But I got up, you know, pretended like I wasn't like phased by anything. I didn't know how much time was left. I was assuming probably like a minute and a half. And I started throwing some jabs because I was just like hearing Jorge Masvidal tell me, jab, jab, jab. And then boom, I was using that because I knew that was cue for me to shoot and close the distance. So I started closing the distance, took some of those hits down, circled to the back with that ankle hook. You saw I was grabbing that ankle? That's that good old folk style wrestling right there. And then I started putting in, you know, my hooks. I started looking for the hooks. Let me see. Because like, you know, the camera's kind of small here. You can follow, you can see the movie. I mean, the movie. You can see the fight on La Covacha Fights, and you can see Yoslandis fought that night. Alexis Vila fought that night. It was at La Covacha. Comment La Covacha if you ever been there before, had experiences. I've been partying there right before, since I was in high school. Great place, you know what I'm saying, and had awesome memories. Fun fact: after this fight, after I win this fight, because I win this fight with like 1 minute left using a rear naked choke. He's like fighting my hands and stuff. There's like no way I can like, you know, move the camera stuff. So go check out the fight on YouTube. And I'm going to sink in the rear naked choke, and I'm going to get the win. I hear the 10-second clock. I think, let's see, because whoever's filming this is probably like one of the commentators or something like that. And boom, I get the finish right in there. Bomb. I was just like, thank God I won. If you guys like stories like this, make sure you give me a like and a follow. All right, and repost it, because this is who I am. This is my authentic self. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.